Yo, let's go!
Harder Brunch presents the Meat Cake Invitational 2024.
That's right. This year we're doing it bigger, better, and harder.
It's going to be 10 chef teams, 10 edible works of art, and you help be the judge.
Yeah, you buy one ticket and then that allows you to be a judge.
It's going down February 25th, a half liter. Tickets are on sale now at eventbrite.com.
I'm eating brunch with my people though. The homie Dyke just cooked up a feast and we bout to eat it, bro. Fucked around and has to mix the lobster with the poutine. Daddy is rolling blue dream. Them boys got down a routine. It's Naptown culture. Cooking 7 courses. Had to pass the torch and now I'm grabbing second portion. So sit back, relax, grab a drink and a smoke. It's Harder Brunch on the way and get prepared for the jokes. Whoa.
Hi, and welcome to the Harder Brunch Podcast. I'm your host, Dyke Michaels. With me, as always, my co-host, Thaddaeus Mckee.
Stop about to wait.
On the ones and twos, the wheels of steel, the sauce boss of Indianapolis, and the last broke dragon. Give it up for Zach Rohn, everybody.
Stuffed and ready to go.
Wow.
And a very special returning champion. We wanted to honor her so much, we did not give her a brunch.
Oh, my word.
Very special returning champion in studio with us, comedian Reena Calm.
Hello.
Welcome back to the program.
Thank you. It's nice to be disrespected here.
It was just a heaping helping of disrespect to start off.
Disrespect.
I feel like we should get into this. Usually we wait to talk about the great brunch that we had, but I was coming. Yeah,
you know what? This is
Smoking
perfect.
goose.
It's on theme. I feel like it's like perfect for me, which is kind of like, hey, keep your hopes lower. You know.
I feel like
we should have that on a t-shirt on the back, like lower those expectations.
Expect less. Yeah.
So last year we did a vegan bowl.
It was amazing.
And this year, I originally had this whole. Would you like to hear what the plan was?
well, you
I don't know. Will that make me jealous? And
While
better?
we were in line, she told me, like, Dyke said we're having vegan bowl again. I'm
Yeah,
like, why
so-
would he say that?
It was supposed to be vegan bowl too.
Yeah.
Right.
But-
That's what you
but
said in the booking message.
But
Yeah, you said that.
in writing, I can show you a screenshot.
in the
a
same
receipt.
in the same week, it was Valentine's Day. It's Mardi Gras and the Super Bowl. So we were going to do Vegan Bowl 2, and each course was going to be Valentine's Day dish versus Valentine's Day dish. The other one was going to be Mardi Gras dish versus Mardi Gras dish, and the other one was going to be Super Bowl dish versus Super Bowl dish, and it was all going to be vegan.
Wow.
But then I got booked in Michigan, and I was like, well, and in my head, I was like, I didn't tell Reena we were doing that. So I was like, we'll just take her out for a nice brunch.
No, you did tell her in some sense because
Yeah, you
she
said
knew
we're
they
having a
were
vegan
supposed
bowl.
to be vegan
I
bowl.
thought you guys were probably going to try pretty hard to outdo yourselves.
Yes. Yeah, that's what it sounds
Well, that was
like.
the plan.
Oh,
That
we
was the
we
just
outdid
assumed.
ourselves.
Yeah.
that was the original plan. But then I was like, you know what? We could take her out to a very nice vegan, and we'll of course.
And then I played a part in ruining it.
And then you were on a good podcast, as you
Oh,
called
this
it.
is yeah. Well, nuh-uh. Did I not? Did I say? I didn't mean that.
You said, guys,
You said actual.
I'm doing an actual podcast.
We heard it from downstairs. We heard you talking about us. It was kind of hurtful.
I don't think I told them about you guys.
Where are you at right now? I don't want to talk about it.
They actually didn't ask. They were tired. I was just doing a marathon spot on this Keith and the Girl marathon, and so whatever. I thought it was going to be an hour, and then it was 2 hours, and I knew it was later because I planned on 12:30.
Who were you talking to? You said you were talking to Jimmy?
Jimmy Pardo was.
Oh,
on
not
there.
Jimmy Fallon.
No,
You thought the whole time it was Jimmy Fallon?
I thought she said Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, okay.
no.
Jimmy Pardo. But
Jimmy
what,
Pardo.
what does...
Jimmy Pardo, who's never been accused of fostering a crazy work environment that is actually detrimental to the mental health of his staff.
Yeah, you laughed at the joke. Pardon me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a whole thing. Pardon me.
Were you just laughing?
Okay, one, I didn't really think it was Jimmy Fallon. That was a bad joke. Can you hit the blue button?
Anyway, I'm a huge fan of him, and it was nice to get to meet him virtually. And so I was like, well, okay. I wasn't going to message them about, can I get out of here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by the time we got to the lovely landlocked restaurant, which
Well, it's not a restaurant at that point. It's just a coffee shop.
Well, I asked a vegan friend of mine, I said, what's the best vegan brunch place in Indianapolis? And she said Landlocked. And I was like, great, that's in the neighborhood. We can just have a casual stroll down there. This is going to be great. Reena's going to love it.
Can I tell you, though, I just remembered, because I was here last week and I stopped in and I was just looking for coffee and Gwen recommended I go there. And I just wanted a cold brew real bad, and they had run out of cold brew. So maybe they just be running out of stuff.
Well, I think they do be running out of stuff because they're just such a good restaurant.
Yeah.
I would never say anything bad about Landlocked.
They're running out of stuff because people are getting it.
Well, I feel
people are
like
getting
we
it,
also go there around closing time a lot.
Yeah,
so
well,
it's
this
just
today was my fault.
Yeah, the food things were not their fault today.
Yeah.
Because
that was our fault.
It was Pardo's fault.
But we did
Pardo's fault.
on me.
we did get a big old plate of donuts.
They were very
And they were
good.
vegan donuts.
Yeah, I was surprised by
They were
that.
right.
I was like, well, I was all sulky, like, well, yeah, go and have your donuts. I can't probably, but she was like, they're vegan, so
They were a 7 at best.
And I will say that
they were not the best donuts I've ever had.
Yep, there we
They
go.
were not.
But I
They
was
weren't.
happy to have them.
How was your
thankful.
drink?
The drink is amazing.
The drink was fire.
I'm still enjoying.
I really
mine.
wanted that golden thing. Was that
It
very
looked
good?
magic.
Yeah.
The golden. I got the ginger latte, which is
Yeah,
the
that-
golden latte
yeah.
with espresso, and I'm loving it, guys. Still
I'll
taking
take-
my
I'm-
time.
Not gonna lie.
I'll take a pistachio latte anytime I see one.
I also don't drink a lot of sweetened stuff or eat a lot of sugar, especially during the day. So I'm about to have an episode.
Yeah,
you
are
know?
you lit
Really?
right now?
No, an episode of this podcast.
Hey, there she is. And Reena Calm is back. The pun queen herself.
And she has been asked to leave again.
She's done puns in all 50 states and still is alive.
We're not
Pun
going to
and
ask you to
done.
do a second hour. Don't you worry. We'll get you right out of here on time.
Oh, I think they would have taken back that second hour once they got a feel of it. You know, I went in hot for the first hour, and then the second I was like, I wasn't planning on this.
Do you remember the first time we ever interviewed you? Like,
Oh my
during the
gosh.
middle of COVID, and I think you were having like a mental breakdown.
Oh yeah, in the car.
It was over the phone.
I can tell you, yeah. I was definitely having a mental breakdown.
Was that right after you were arrested?
I don't even want
No,
to do
I gotta-
comedy anymore. I'm like, why is anyone
Well, it was-
doing comedy?
That's
the world's
true.
falling apart. And it was like,
Oh, yeah.
No,
how do we dump out of this phone call?
No, but, fair. But also, the reason I was in that state was like I couldn't get unemployment, and all I had for my living was comedy. So I was having a rough time compared to some other people that might
Yeah.
have had some stability. I didn't have a place to live.
Well,
know?
you needed the income of being a road comic in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
So it's just like, hey, I
some
might
people-
die. I don't want anyone to show up. But if people don't show up, I don't get paid.
Well, I was even just thinking about this, how in 2021 and stuff, the whole year of 2021, I was doing shows with people that were like, oh man, I have been holding off. This is my first one back. And I'm like, buckle up, bitch. I didn't have the luxury of waiting till I was comfortable. I just had to go and do it.
And kill people.
That's how I felt because I owned my own business at the
Yeah.
time. I didn't apply. I didn't.
There's no time
I
to
couldn't
be
get,
scared or
Yeah, I couldn't
upset.
get the unemployment.
Yeah, we've talked
I think
about
I
this.
got like $1,000 or whatever. But I mean, when you were making like $1,000 every 2 weeks or a week for the unemployment, it was
Yeah.
crazy. You just had to go out there and figure it out.
Especially with a family, you know what I mean? That's psychotic. Well, so that particular phone call, I was sitting in my friend's driveway in near Lake Tahoe, and I had taken a gig that I had to drive all the way to Portland for, or the West Coast, you know?
Wow.
And there were 2 gigs. One of them was for $500, and the other one was for $1,000. And the $500 gig happened, and it was one of the worst experiences of my performing life. It was a nightmare
What happened?
time. It was in a casino, and so there's no swearing, which is strange because we're gambling.
Yeah.
That's bad luck.
Yeah. But it
we
was
don't
also
want the Lord to be offended by we're gambling.
It was in Medford, Oregon, and it was the day that they announced Biden won. And I don't know if you can imagine the crowd that goes to a casino in
In
rural
Oregon, yeah.
Oregon, but they were not with it.
Yeah.
And
Do you mean when Biden stole the election?
yeah, they stormed the stage. No, but I couldn't swear, so I couldn't do regular material. I was just I did an hour of just handling this rowdy crowd. And the people that were heckling where I couldn't finish any jokes stayed for the second show. So I had to do like they didn't even seem to be having a good time.
I gotta admit, I respect that a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if you ruin a show and then stay until the next performance,
We'll give her one more chance.
Well, that's why they're in the people at a casino comedy show are often there because they just need to stop gambling, and it's like that's a weird way to double down on a bit of time. You know what I mean? To like stick around,
Take it out on this broad up here on stage.
and I got through it. And then, like, right at the end of my show, this guy walks in, because it's a casino. People can come and go. He walks in, and he just goes, Trump 2020. And, like, a bunch of people cheered. And I was like, oh, no. And I just remember, I celebrated. I, like, was, like, seeing my friends online talking about, like, oh, we're in New York. There's a parade. We're, like, cheering on the subway. We're hugging in the streets because, like, it was the end of the Trump era, or so they lied.
Part one.
Part one. And Trump 2, Electric Boogaloo, coming soon.
I have the best boogaloo.
I have a fast flushing Boogaloo.
And these people, they don't have boogaloos. Sad.
People say to me all the time.
Very sad. Boogaloo came up to me, tears in his eyes. Big Boogaloo.
I said, wow.
And so it was bad. And this guy shouted Trump. And I just was like, oh, you know what? They told me I couldn't say any dirty words. Like, and he can say that. And I got everybody to cheer by saying, like, hey, whatever you believe, can we all just agree that we're sick of talking about it? And everybody's like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to survive this night. But then, okay, sorry, cut to like when I went to Tahoe was the week in between these shows.
Yeah.
And that was when COVID started going up again. And so they were talking about canceling the $1,000 gig. And I was like, I did not drive to Oregon for $500. That's not even enough for gas. So I was sitting on the fence of waiting, like, are they going to pull the plug on the show? Am I here for no reason? Am I losing money while I have none? And so, yeah, when I was talking to you about a podcast, you know, doing a podcast, I was in a very existential moment of like, what the hell?
Yeah, it was definitely you should have canceled on that, but you were like, no, I have to talk to these assholes in Indianapolis.
we need this moment to be recorded forever.
Oh my God, it is too somewhere. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear any of the stuff from COVID.
We talked to one comic one time, and he was having a similar situation. He was also on acid. And it was kind of like should I quit comedy kind of moment. And then we're just like being chuckles over the phone and like, hey, tell us a funny story.
Yeah, you guys were really trying to make it fun. And I was like, good luck. Good luck with this. That's so funny. I really, honestly, I'm not ready for it right now, but I hope to listen to all of those someday again. Like they're still on the internet, all the Zoom shows, all the meltdowns, you know.
Did you do Zoom? Were you Zooming? Zoom
I did.
shows?
I could not. I did the first Zoom show because I was like, it pays $10. I'm desperate, you know. So I was doing Zoom stuff right away. Yeah.
I didn't do any. The closest that you did like a sketch for something, and
Yeah, you helped me.
I was like in the background of a sketch, but
I
it
like
was
wrote
different.
my album, most of it on Zoom, like kind of at least the setups of all. Like I worked out so much material on Zoom that became my album, you know.
That's interesting.
It's all bombing when you're doing a show.
That
So you
is
might as well
true,
do
yeah.
new stuff. You're not going to go do well. You might as well try stuff.
The weirdest
you know?
thing, a bunch of us went. The first thing that we did, like Bert Kreischer did the drive-through tour thing, and so we went to see that, and it was like Tibbs drive-through, it was like a local drive-through over here, and just the idea of like
Wait, drive-through or drive-in?
a drive-in movie theater.
Okay, yeah.
Drive-through.
I messed
Sorry.
them up too, but drive-through shows just through the speaker.
yeah, it was at an Arby's. This is Bert Kreischer.
Dude, people filmed specials with like parking lots with like horn applause.
Oh yeah, or like a rooftop, you know. But like
I
this
heard
was
those shows were really horny.
I have to go.
But it was like you stay in your car. All the cars were separate, But then it's just like you're watching it kind of on the screen and you're listening to it through your car, and then to applause. Like there was a crowd up front that I guess
Like
was
flashing
laughing.
lights and-
was like like honking your horn and
Yeah.
shit. And I was just like, this is so bizarre.
Yeah, it's like bombing, but also angry traffic.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, have you ever been like at an outdoor show, like at a outdoors at Black Circle, when like someone drives by and there's like a loud
Yeah.
motorcycle or there's a plane
Oh,
crash
I love
or
when there's
something?
a siren
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, they're here for me. And they're like, "Mwah, mwah, mwah, mwah."
Could you imagine? Well, could
There's
you
my
imagine
ride.
I love There's My Ride. That'll never be not funny to me.
there's my ride. Could you imagine getting mad at a car though for not honking? Like what? You're gonna just sit there all night and not honk? Yeah.
I've been looking at you all night. I haven't
Yeah.
seen you honk once.
Was anybody doing crowd work with like cars? Like,
Yeah. The
hey,
car heckler.
Mitsubishi and the Dodge, you guys together?
Yeah.
Jenna's be like,
Yeah. Jenna's be like,
Jenna's drive like this.
it's like a car heckler too. Like, all right, like turn that muffler down. Someone's had a little bit too much
Yeah,
gas.
what if that guy drunk guy just fell asleep on his
Yeah.
horn? Kick this guy out of here.
Are you guys really gonna have sex during my
but also
performance?
there was more than one podcast. It's also keep in mind like any of the podcasts I did during COVID, especially like during the summertime, like there was a couple podcasts I did with people where it was like just like some guy I know talking about comedy like while all the protests are going on, and I had to be like, hey, you know what? Don't post that.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about comedy on a podcast right now. Like that's where some of the existential stuff comes in of like, what are we doing? You know what I mean?
Did I ever tell you what happened to me? It was like
People need to laugh.
2 weeks. It was like, I feel like it was 2 or 3 weeks after like the protests. It was 4th of July. So the protests were in June, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, all that stuff was going on as a backdrop of society. And then on the 4th of July, I woke up to someone yelling the N-word in our backyard.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, well, it's not Thad. It's not Thad's
I was
voice
at
that
work.
I'm hearing.
I was at work.
Best case
It couldn't have
scenario,
been me. I
best
was
case
at work.
scenario would have been Thad. Second best case scenario would be me, but it wasn't either one of us.
It's not me.
And then I like look outside and I see this like skinny white guy with a shirt off. And we were supposed to have, the landlord was supposed to send like his son to cut the grass. And so I'm like, man, it's kind of. I remember being like, man, this kid's out there listening to rap music or something, and he's getting worked up. And so I was just like, I went out there and I was just like very politely going to be like, hey man, would you mind not yelling the N-word in my backyard?
Oh my God.
And I go outside and I let Cody out in the backyard. It's a fenced-in backyard. There's no reason a human being should be back there, let alone yelling the N-word.
Right.
And so I was like, hey man, how's it going? Like, I didn't even want to like start with like, don't say the N-word. I was like, hi, how are you? I live here. Thanks for cutting the grass.
You're in
P.S.
earshot.
Please don't say the N-word next to my window. And then he turns around and his eyes are just Googling in both directions. And he's having a conversation with somebody that's not there in the yard.
And there's not a like lawnmower in sight.
No
right?
lawnmower.
Right.
No shirt, no shoes, no lawnmower.
Like how long did it
Zero
take? Like
service.
I feel like you would have known that this isn't the lawn boy.
I mean, immediately it's like I opened the door and I was like, hell no. And then he's talking, and I'm like, man, and I'm like trying to get Cody to come back in. Like I'm trying to like,
I let you out there with a monster.
I'm trying to be like, hey Cody, come in here. I'm sorry. And then the guy's like, and then he turns around to me and he's like, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them, obviously. And I'm like, there's no one there. And so
wow.
I was just like, all right. I was like, hey man, I'm just gonna go inside real quick. And he was like, oh, would you mind bringing me a glass of water? And I was like, sure, yeah, let me get right on that. And then I shut the door and I called the police. And and then I gave him a description, and then I was like, man, there's a lot of stuff going on with the police right now. I was like, what if they show up and think like I'm the guy?
Because you were wearing the same thing, right?
Yeah, I gave the description. I was like, he's wearing a baseball cap and
No
like,
shirt.
yeah,
Red shorts.
So I go out on the front porch with the dog, and I'm just like, I just want to greet the cops when they get here, and I also like don't want him to. I don't know what's going on. The cops are on edge. People are on edge.
Yeah.
I don't want anything bad to happen to this guy because he just seemed like out of his fucking mind. He did
Yeah.
nothing threatening.
We do need like a mental health police.
Yeah.
You know, we do need just like a meter maid for your.
But I'll say this: the cops in that particular instance, they went, they get him. They didn't even like put him in here. They walked and talked him out of the yard, and I guess he had been like having these episodes with other people on the street, but he hadn't quite done anything that the cops could actually like.
They said some N-words together. They had a moment.
Hey, we agree on a couple things.
Hey, but like, do you guys everybody talk to themselves? Do you
Yeah.
guys all talk to yourselves?
I talk to
Out
myself
loud?
reliably. Like I get called out on it. Like if
Yeah.
I'm like walking, I'm
Yeah.
like gesticulating and like working through a thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
for
say
sure.
it out loud though. I talk to
I-
myself in my head, but I don't say it
I
out
for
loud.
sure. Well, so like you've called me on it, like when I was walking up to the house, and I'm just like,
Oh, I have conversations all the time.
full on. If nobody's around, yes, I do.
You're practicing cussing out
audibly.
Thad.
Well, you know,
No, sometimes I run through either comedy stuff or things I want to say to people that aren't there that I just like I'm frustrated about.
Yep.
Like I have a lot of conversations with people in my car that I'm like annoyed with. You
So
know
what
what I mean?
voice is it? Like, because there's a voice in the back of your head, right? That everybody has. That kind of sounds like this, right?
No.
Are you talking about the?
no, this is just you.
Are you talking about the shadow? That's what the
Wait,
shadow
no,
is.
the deep
Everyone
voice that
has a
everybody
Batman
has.
in them.
But like
What is it? What is it saying?
the deep voice.
Yeah, like what kind of stuff does
Always
it say?
saying to kill people.
No, I feel so. I
You
feel
know
like
that voice.
My voice is just me having a one-sided conversation, right?
Yeah.
If I'm having like she was saying, like if you're working something out, like somebody's irritated, it's just me running through every potential argument, but
Right.
not like I don't hear a response.
Yeah, but
right.
is there usually like a kind of a correct voice? Like there's a negative self-talk voice in your head that everybody has too, right?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
But
yeah,
when you're
yeah, yeah,
talking
yeah.
to yourself,
What does that one sound like?
I feel like the negative.
sounds like a puppet.
I feel like negative self-talk is more like a soundboard. It's like a really short bite,
Oh, like,
and you have
okay.
it's like just like something like, wow, you're an ugly piece of shit.
Yeah.
You're-
Right.
You know,
but
but
you
it's
don't
very
say that
repeated.
out loud.
Right. You don't say
No,
that
I'm
out
not
loud.
But
saying that.
does your negative voice ever come out audible? Is really my question.
Well, yes, and
Rarely.
self-criticism. If I'm doing something and I mess it up, I'm like, well, there you go, fuckwit, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
You know what my like
Okay, yeah.
All right, dum dum. Like,
I speak to like my surroundings a lot. I was just thinking, just because of living in the van and stuff, I have like
Like a
thing that
Disney
I
princess?
What?
You're like, I speak to my
Oh.
surroundings.
No, well-
hello, Bluebird.
just like anytime I get frustrated with stuff, I have to have this like kind of mantra that I'll say out loud or whatever. Like you can't get mad at physics, you know, because like sometimes stuff's gonna fall or fling or fly or not stay on the not flat surface or you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
so like stuff falls or it's frustrating and it's like. I don't know if it happens enough, you start being like, "Oh, this always happens. Like, what the hell?" You know. And I say, you can't get mad at physics.
Yeah.
It's just physics. That's physics.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
No, I
healthy.
feel-
That's healthy because mine is always like, of course this would fall on me.
right?
yeah.
Right.
Like,
I feel like mine is more. I get mad at like psychology. Like I can deal with physics. Like I can deal with the outcome of something that has to be like that. Like something terrible falling.
Like a tree falling on your
Like
car.
things that don't. Yeah, right. Because if things above you, you drop it, it falls. That's the
yeah.
only answer. But it's like if you put somebody in a situation, they could do either thing.
They
And
could
it-
push the
and it
tree
dri-
on the car.
That's the thing that drives me crazy is when like I don't know when somebody does the ridiculous thing or the stupid thing
Yeah.
or the
No,
whatever.
the majority of talking to myself gesticulating is definitely like.
That's how we
so-
started like when we became roommates.
well, I asked you to name all your traumas and triggers.
Yeah.
You
Traumas
know
and
what?
triggers.
Can I
Traumas,
tell you
triggers, and
guys-
fears.
Can I tell you
TTF.
guys that I hooked up with a guy this last year, and it was like the worst thing. Anyway, it's,
How old was he? No.
he's the youngest man I've ever hooked up with. He was 26 though. Okay.
Hold on a second. For the people that aren't in the studio, you turned and looked at our friend Juan, who's off camera, and Mike, who's
Go on.
26 birthdays
Go
today.
on.
So-
With the look of like, we'll get you later.
Hey, you're now on the list, buddy.
But
You're
it's
getting your
like the
present
same.
later
26, an example of how 26 is when I say the
Yeah.
youngest guy I've ever hooked up with, still an adult.
Yeah.
26
You
is
know?
hot.
Yeah.
One's hot too.
So just a hot lad.
Go
But
ahead.
I was turning 40 that week, so I think I was just having like, I really need to get it in my 30s again, or I don't know what.
You wanted it to drain the powers of the youth.
Well, yeah, that's how it kind of works, isn't it?
Yeah, like a vampire.
It was just a really weird, impulsive thing.
A sex pyre.
Wait, was that your birthday?
It was right before my birthday.
Oh, you told me about that. Yeah, because I think I was the first show the next day, and it was like,
Yes.
so you came in
Yes.
hot, and you were like, I've been a real piece of work.
I don't think I told you how that turned out, though. He blocked me on Instagram.
Oh, no.
Oh, you got blocked by a 26-year-old that you...
How bad were you?
How bad was it?
Pretty bad.
Like he looks like the crepe keeper. Like he drained all the youth out of him. He's like, oh, don't have sex with Reena Calm. She'll drain the youth out of you. Wrinkly old man. Like, how old are you? I'm 27. It's been a rough year.
I
since
offended
fucked
him.
Reena Calm.
I offended him to the core, and he blocked me on Instagram.
How did you offend him to the core?
So, okay, like the whole thing. The reason I brought this up is because his move on me was he goes, I don't know what you kids are doing, but he goes,
Apparently you.
he's like,
Count it.
so he goes, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you? Like, what's your deepest trauma? That was his like, right?
Opener. Yeah.
Yeah, that was his opener.
opener.
But like, I'm also like, I have PTSD. Like, you want one? I'll spill. Like, you want to hear something that'll fuck up your day? I got you.
Sure.
And so,
So
like,
you obliged.
yeah,
Of
I
course she
consented
did.
to the trauma dump.
That's
And
awesome.
I just spilled out. I mean, he was like, well, what's the worst thing that ever happened? Whatever. So he just like got me in a vulnerable, weird place by just like asking me to share
Which is
fucked up stuff.
close to the R word. Keep going.
No, but so the hookup was not good. Choking is not second base. You know what I mean? At least that's what he told me.
Wait, he started with choking?
Yes.
Wait, he started with choking?
Yes.
Did he ask
Without
or just
clothes
No,
on
it was like
choking?
his move. Like while we were making out, he started like,
Clothes on choking?
yes.
That's a red flag, my dear.
Right. And he also wanted to film us like hooking up. And I was like, no, that's crazy. And then he had a camera. And I was like, hey, what's that camera? And then he's like, oh, it's just for like security when I'm not home for the dog. And I was like, well, turn it around.
Was this guy on house arrest or something like that?
So there's a lot of details I actually don't want to share.
Okay,
but then
sure.
there's one thing.
Oops, he was on house arrest.
No.
Sorry.
We won't disclose his race.
Well, because everything you're telling me, like everything you're saying right now is red flags.
No, I met him at a show.
Tell me your deepest trauma while I'm choking you.
I know. I met him at a show. Oh my God. He like I like got him cocaine at a bar. It was the weirdest.
Was he also a
I was not
hypnotherapist?
drinking that night either.
Yeah, he sounds like a hypnotherapist.
Yeah, he like did something.
Running into these
He's
hypnos.
in sales. He really got me,
Whoa.
you know? And he also used to do like health insurance sales. So he's like, he works for a comedian that I really don't like now. And he used to work in the health insurance industry, and he's from Florida. So I think I just needed to hook up with somebody I couldn't possibly respect. You know what I mean? And
Sorry, Juan.
so listen, he was a fan. I went home with a fan, okay? Because he was like really complimentary after my set. So I was like, okay, fine. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
what
I
was
wanted
his-
to choke you after your sets before too.
That makes a lot more sense.
After, what did he say? The line that got me at the bar was he goes, "You're very visually rewarding."
Ooh.
Yeah. 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 And so
It's bouncing back in my head if it's a good one or a bad one.
the way he
it's
delivered it
different.
was great because he was giving me looks and like, you know, you're very visually.
See, I had a line that was
Rewarding.
like that, but it wasn't as good. I was like,
Wow.
You're a lot to look at. That's what I like to say. Women hate that one.
I don't get bored looking at you.
What's that? Okay. Okay. We were hooking up and it wasn't great, you know, at all. But I finished what I start kind of a thing, you know, but I had this moment where I was like,
You also have like birthday energy, right?
Wait, I don't know what
Yeah.
you mean by that. Do you mean you always come? I really, let's just get it out. I don't know what you mean by
no,
that.
I grew up in a misogynistic era. He always comes.
Man always comes.
Yeah.
I'm writing a book called The Man Always Comes, but keep going.
Okay.
It's a children's book.
I wasn't. It was like obvious that I wasn't gonna come. So I was like, "You ever suck a dick to put it out?" You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Like put it out a fire?
Yeah, like I just want to get this. I want this to end. So I want this to end, but not be contentious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you don't want to get blocked on social media.
right. And I've already been there. Let's just finish the job. And so I was going down on this guy, and I had this moment where I like my personality shifted, or like his spell wore off, like while I was in it.
Oh no.
And yeah, like I do feel like, I mean, I bought Coke from him at this, like for him at this. He made me bargain with a Coke dealer. Like,
that's the amazing
not even just
part of the
buy
story.
Coke, but like
Yeah.
haggle a price down with a Coke dealer.
Wait, did you come back and be like, well, this guy's getting, he's like, no, cheaper.
Yeah. And he's like, go up and say this.
No,
and he
no,
told
So
me
he's
how to
outside the bar?
Now,
No,
does
we were
this
both
guy,
at the
Okay.
bar.
Does this
I
guy-
didn't know the Coke dealer either. It's not like a friend of mine. It was just a guy.
does this guy teach classes?
I mean, he should.
Because, I mean, that's amazing.
He sounds like a pimp. It sounds like you went on a date with the pimp, an actual pimp.
Did you
I
get
mean-
trafficked?
I mean, that's the thing. I felt like when I was in the midst of the fellation, I had this moment where I was like, who am I? You know what I mean? And
You're the bottom bitch, is who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, it led to like a slight panic attack when I left, and just really felt like, wait, I'm me. Who was that? Like, it was a really weird moment. But in the middle of the moment when it happened, I was in the middle of doing that, and I had this like realization where I was like, you know what? If I was a guy and I brought a fan home, like, she'd be servicing me. Why am I doing this? You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why am I
Yeah.
servicing this guy?
Yeah.
He would
Yeah.
be going down on me.
Yeah, flip the script.
So it became very mechanical at that point, and I think I just stopped. And he was like, "Oh, are you? I'm almost whatever." And I just went, "Well, it's kind of taking a long time."
And that's a block ski.
and then no, and then
So this is still all the pleasant part of the night. That's amazing.
so then
Calm before the storm.
also
No.
like we were like talking about trauma and listening to music. That's a reference to my last name. We were talking about trauma and listening to music, but then when we started hooking up, like right around the choking, he put on an Andrew Schultz special, which is like, we're hooking up now to like an Andrew Schultz special. It was so gross. Anyway, it was a bad time, and I had that switch. He said like, he's like, I'll finish soon. And so I'm like, okay. And so I like robotically went to finish the job. But then when he did finish, he didn't, like, with no warning, all of a sudden just like finished, and which is a little rude. And
Wait. What kind of warning are you supposed to give when you're
I don't
getting a
know, any
blowjob?
kind of verbal
Yeah,
indication.
you got your mouth open.
No.
If it's
What?
a glory hole, you're supposed to knock.
Really?
Yeah, 2 knocks.
Oh.
I didn't
You
know
can-
that.
Wait,
If
you didn't want a
somebody's-
real answer?
If it's in somebody's mouth, you should give them the
Yeah.
option
Yeah,
to
yeah.
how
Yeah.
to proceed next.
As a guy could be like, hey, it's about to happen. Or
Right. Or like,
can
oh, here
start
it comes, or anything. Like,
clucking
or-
like a chicken.
yeah, any kind of indication. Or just
Yeah.
like tap out.
I
You
shout
know
my
what it-
catchphrase.
Yeah,
Usually.
you just keep the tone of breath just steady, so
Do you
nobody
do like
knows
a Bernie
it's
Mac, like,
about
I
to.
ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I don't even understand.
I always do the white people be shopping. Or
I didn't
shopping.
I just yell, hamburger.
I say, slap it back to Wang Wang.
So, okay, he completed the mission, and
Good.
then I didn't want that to
Yeah,
keep.
you were done.
So, and you could spit or swallow. We know the classic 2 options.
Or snort.
Ew. I did a spit take. Where I
Like
just
you
kind of went like
shamued cum
I went like patoo, like on him, like kind of aggressively.
like a dinosaur from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, just like on his stomach, like, bleh. And he really didn't care for that.
That's unhinged.
But you did the same
Super.
thing. You did the same thing that he did to you. Yours,
Right.
that was his stomach. It was your taste buds. Sorry, I should say
Right, no,
mouth.
but you're right. But also, like, come on, you've had cum on your stomach before. Like, you've gotten it on
Yeah,
yourself. Like, come on,
exactly.
it came out of your body. Like, it's not like I was like.
Maybe it was the gesture. That
I didn't
you did.
weaponize it, but it definitely wasn't. But okay, so first I did it, and then I was like, I've never done that before. Like, then I think me laughing about it didn't help, you know. And
I think the best part about having sex with you would be all the funny asides that you get.
I'm a very gentle, patient, and nurturing lover.
But also a little Groucho is in there.
Yeah, but I've also got an attitude problem. But I've also a vaudeville act, you know.
Let's take
You make puns.
Let's put a pin in that. Take a quick commercial
Put a
break.
pun in this.
Put a pun in this, and we'll be right back with more Reena Calm.
This week on the After Brunch Podcast.
Or just a sex criminal,
Or he asked
general
you,
sex pervert.
for some reason, and you can't ask questions why, but he has an AK-47 under that.
Oh my God.
Under his seat. We don't know how it got there. It's just there.
AK-47.
Again, you don't ask any questions.
And he's just
And
been
you
sitting
know
on
his
it.
life is about to be over because you can't. It's one thing to pee in front of kids that are.
He's got it under the seat of the bus. Is that what you're saying?
I said no questions about the AK-47.
Join us at patreon.com/Harder Brunch.
Welcome back. I would be remiss to not plug Meat Cake. The Meat Cake Invitational. It's coming up February 25th at Half Liter. What is the Meat Cake? So you might be asking. Well, we get some of the 10 of the best chef teams in the Midwest competing for meat supremacy. They're going head to head, building wedding cakes out of meat. Basically, you get 10 courses of meat cakes to sample from, and then you help pick the winner, which is going to be the Meat King for the next year.
And people are asking, like, are these cakes good? They have to be good.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
We wouldn't let them bring a subpar meat cake into our competition.
They're competing for the grand prize of the Meat King.
Yeah, well, and we're also on the cutting edge. Like, this is the only cooking competition of its kind in the entire country.
The
So
only
there's a-
and largest.
I don't eat meat, and it looked incredible. Like, just the pictures of all the cakes were, and I was showing them to people, like, super, super, like, incredible to look at.
Fun fact, we converted 3 vegans last year into carnivores.
We have a chart.
And you
they
know what?
have not looked back.
It's one of those things where, like, last year was so good, so, like, who knows who's going to step it up this year. But also, I promise what they're not going to do is tell you there's going to be a meat cake competition, and then you get there, and it's like, we're actually just going to have some donuts.
It's a pile of donuts.
Yeah, we will not Reena you.
And then I spit them on their stomachs.
Tickets available on Eventbrite.com.
I feel like it's so rare. Like, we do so much of fucking up the plug that ours never to get,
Yeah,
completely
I
derailed.
would come to that.
Oh,
If I were you listening, I'd be like, wow, way to make it through the halfway point, first of all, points. And also, I would come to that.
Yeah, the people that made it past the halfway point, like, what do you want now? Like, what are you looking for?
I mean, we really went for it in the first half. So it's like,
we
Yeah.
usually don't talk so much about bodily fluids. This is more of an after brunch conversation.
We talk about cum, semen, sperm, jizz.
There are other fluids that come from the body.
one of the first podcasts I ever did, I was so excited. They gave me a gift as I left from their sponsor, which was a little single-use packet of lube that was made to look like semen and feel like. And
what?
who would want that?
For people that don't finish.
I don't know.
So like, you kind of squeeze it in your
It
hand.
was
Like,
called
I just
spunk or something. It was called like something like that, and it was just like this, like, milky gelatinous.
like
Blue.
for movies.
So when you want to have a pregnancy scare every time,
Yeah, I don't know.
that doesn't
man.
make sense.
Yeah, I didn't. Right? Yeah, but I was like, oh, thanks, because it was my first podcast.
was it warrant? Or was it? Never mind. I'm just.
I don't know.
too
I didn't
curious.
really use it.
We've been very fortunate that like every sponsor that we've had is like a
It's not fake sperm.
Is not yeah.
We have zero jizz sponsors right now.
Is a product or a service that I actually like in real life that are already used, or you know what I'm saying? I don't have to come up with lies for something to be like, hey, look at this dick warmer or whatever, you know.
I love the new Trojan dick warmer. I've been telling my family and bringing it home, and it's just fun to look at and unpack too.
Yeah.
You could bring it on the train, and
Great gift for dad
Yeah.
this holiday season.
yeah, and the best thing is they have a monthly subscription service, so every month I get to try a new dick warmer.
Ooh,
You should do this
voiceovers.
Use the
professionally.
code
Yeah.
for Harder Brunch and get your dick hard on a warmer.
I'm like, how much is it this now?
Yeah, I give a good voice, man.
You should do some commercials with us afterwards.
Yeah, you should do some commercials with us.
Okay.
This is the nastiest I've ever seen you, Reena. I don't know what was in those donuts that we had earlier.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think maybe. Whoa.
They're
a chair.
expensive. They're expensive donuts, so they better have some drugs in them.
I think like every other time too, as we talked about, like I mean, after I eat a big meal, I'm like a little bit not. Yeah, I don't want to talk. You know what I mean? Like I
You
do
think
it.
This
Yeah, I don't
podcast is
think-
a bad idea.
Yeah, no,
No, I'm weird about food.
I don't
like-
think you're weird about it. I think there's lots of people who, after they completely fill themselves, don't want to do something for 4 hours.
I always have fun on
Fortunately,
this
we didn't give you
podcast.
any food though.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm not going to do if I've just filled myself with food is think about the grossest thing that's ever happened.
That's true.
You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
Like that's going to be an empty stomach kind of a chat.
You gotta stay hungry.
Oh, so you're hungry right now.
No, I'm the donut was I'm fine.
It's okay if you're. No, you had one donut.
I'm very hungry.
I had 1.5.
I'm the hungriest I've ever been at
My
brunch.
body hurts
Yeah.
out of anger.
I'm gonna chew through my
disappointment.
arm and leave it here so that I can escape, and you guys can just talk to my arm, and it'll be like that movie.
Wait, what movie?
I know what your movie do.
The James Franco
127 hours
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But no one talked to the arm. That's why I was
The sequel
I
is
was
just
like,
the arm.
All
Did
I
they
could think
podcast
of-
with the arm afterwards?
All I could think of was Idle Hands.
That movie is great.
Yeah.
I miss Idle Hands. I want to see more. I want to go on a whole like 90s. I want to watch Inspector Gadget again. I want to watch Tales from the Crypt again, and not Inspector Gadget with Matthew Broderick. I want to watch like the cartoons.
Yeah, we all knew you weren't talking about that one.
That came up recently. I'm like, I didn't even watch that. Matthew Broderick, how unappealing. Oh, vehicular manslaughter. Next. You guys know he killed people with a car? Cool.
So
That was my first.
a lot of people kill people with cars.
That was my first crush. Was the
Matthew Broderick?
was,
Ferris. Save Ferris.
Penny from Inspector Gadget, the animated Penny. When I
Was
was
she? Can you pull up? We
My
can
first crush was Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, good
The
one.
cartoon.
Yeah.
pull, animal was
Yeah.
What?
an animal
No,
or
not
his
the cartoon.
personality?
The animal?
Well, I mean,
Well, the
It's a
turtle.
live action.
I think
Yeah,
turtles
yeah,
are animals.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
it was a mutant turtle.
look
The
that up?
mutant.
So
The
it's not
teen-
like pure animal.
I was a teenager too, so it wasn't age-wise inappropriate.
Right.
We're both teenage.
I don't
Both-
think that's
you-
what Thad
you're
was
both-
addressing. But
You're both ninjas.
You're both ninjas. There's only
Both
that.
mutant. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm trying to picture you in this Gone Girl Insane Asylum, just dreaming of Michelangelo
Interrupted.
or Girl Interrupted. Gone
Yeah,
Girl.
get it right.
Gone Girl's the one where she. Yeah.
And you're just dreaming of Michelangelo.
Drawing pictures of Michelangelo.
Yeah. We both love pizza.
No, they all were like
Okay.
they all looked identical, right? They just had different colored bandanas on.
And
I feel
different
like it-
weapons, different
yeah.
personalities.
Oh, okay.
I feel like they didn't get really different personalities until later. Like the first movie, like Raph is angry and that's about it.
Yeah,
the,
he's
the
always
other
been-
three turtles are pretty interchangeable.
They like pizza.
yeah,
Yeah, like Leonardo doesn't have a personality. Well,
right.
He's, like, good
He's
at
just
math.
in charge.
Yeah. And what's the other one?
Donatello.
Donatello. Yeah, not even.
They
Didn't
really
remember his name.
Yeah,
How do
they
you like
really
that?
lean into it now. So like Donnie does all the like tech stuff, so he's big computer savvy.
When was the last time you watched that, Reena? Because like I know I brought this up before, but like the whole idea of the Foot Clan was just like runaway delinquent children. Then they were like, and their honeycomb hideout was like a child casino. Do you remember that
Oh.
scene where like the guy's giving a tour and he's just like, yeah, we can do whatever we want here, and he's like smoking cigarettes, and they're like, anything, and they're like, anything, and they're like, what's the implication here? Like,
I
what's
think
going
we
on?
watched because you know how like you have that one videotape that you watched more than like I don't know like we had the second one is
Yeah.
the one that we played
yeah.
over and over again. I don't
They
know if we
toned
even
that
had
down.
the first one. Yeah.
The violence.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to use their weapons in the second
We
one.
had the Vanilla Ice one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Go ninja, go ninja, go.
I feel like kind of like with like because it was like Terminator. The second one was kind of the one that became the really popular one.
I feel like Ghostbusters was kind of like that
Yep.
too.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I think also because like I remember getting like I had Ghostbusters 2. It was one of the first movies I got, Ghostbusters 2 on tape.
Yeah.
And like I feel like they were just giving that away. I feel like if I got my hands on it, that means every kid had one. I feel like.
Yeah, we had a bunch of tapes for sure.
But there was
I still do.
There was a bunch of movies where like they were like in around that time where they would have a movie that would be a hit. And then they would a lot of times make a cartoon out of it. And then the second movie, there would be some sort of movie to cartoon correlation. And then the second movie would be really geared towards kids.
Yeah.
So like the second Ninja Turtles was kidded up. The second Gremlins 2, they just turned that in from like a horror movie to like a child's horror movie.
I've never seen Gremlins or Gremlins 2.
Oh, Gremlins 2 is classic.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll see it. I won't. We weren't allowed to watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Gremlins 2 is like a cartoon almost. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like slapstick.
I also didn't see like what's that one? Goonies.
Yeah, I haven't seen Goonies either. I always want to see that.
I've always seen it in pieces. Like I've never sat and watched it through, but
Yeah.
like it's been on TV a bunch of times.
I know the truffle shuffle thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Good child adventure. I remember being a kid and always thinking I was going to be on an adventure.
Do you feel like the sequel in this podcast, the second half, is when we try to make it more okay for kids and less about We're trying to make it more marketable, more
Harder Brunch
mainstream.
2?
A lot less cum talk than there is in a lot of kids' productions. So that's nice.
Yeah, some of those cartoons were like pretty mature.
Some
you
of them
know?
were wild. So like having a kid and looking at watching things, you see it again kind of from a different angle or whatever.
Yeah.
And so there was the Flintstones remake with whatever.
Roseanne?
Yeah, that guy.
John Goodman.
John Goodman.
Roseanne.
and Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
And then
Rick
Rosie
Moranis.
O'Donnell was
That's
in
who
there.
I meant.
Yeah. But it was really not that great because I feel like it was made in like the 90s, but they were trying to like do these like, you know, what was like a 1950s cartoon. So it was very 1950s, like, you know, like the women are only shopping. That's their
Right.
job, right? And then, you know, but no, it was really weird. And then it was very, very sexual.
I feel like that was the 90s too, though.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of ways. When I went on a deep dive of watching like all the Real Housewives and from when they started, and like now, if you ever watch
Great
Real,
kid show.
well, no, but just like how we were. Like I like the sociological, like, you know, not the programming, but like the ladies now on Real Housewives, when they start, they all have their intros like, you can walk on me, but I will stomp on you or whatever. Like they're very like strong. And back then in the first season, they were like, sorry.
Yeah. they were just a rich housewife.
I'll do better next time.
Yeah. I don't know. Is this okay? I love my kids. That's it. Anyway, it's that was 2006. So the 50s lasted a while.
Yeah.
Lady rolls.
Where are you going after this? Where are you headed?
I'm going to the Sunday show at Black Circle Brewing here in Indianapolis.
No, after that. I meant like next weekend. Where are you going? Like, are you on tour right now? What's going on?
No, I just got back to Chicago and I'm trying to figure out not touring all the time.
Okay.
So I have.
So you're planning down roots in Chicago?
Not exactly. I'm kind of like in an in-between phase
Okay.
of saving up money. Like I'm trying to get back on my feet, but right now I'm gathering some dirt to stand on, you know? And so I am doing a show in the burbs of Illinois next week, but then I have Zanies I'm headlining in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
On
Hit that Zanies button.
February 19th.
Nope.
I meant to ask you. I love.
It's a Monday. Don't get too excited, but
But no,
you
Zanies
should-
is hard to get in.
it is, and it's been like a little Chicago Mount Everest for me in comedy. So it's my second time headlining, and I'm really excited. Gwen's featuring.
Oh, really?
That's great. You have a lot of great. I feel like you took a lot of great photos when you were traveling across the country.
Yeah,
that
thanks.
you use for promo. But one of my favorite ones is the one where you're wearing like. You're wearing like full body pajamas and you're like in front of a gas station and it looks like you're dumping gasoline on
thanks.
yourself.
I just looked at that the other day.
Yeah, I just posted it, so that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I was like, how did that?
That was like one of my last posts.
Well, I always scroll through all your pictures every morning, and I was like, and I just fixate on one.
Yeah, you pick one for the day, and
that was it.
Yeah,
the gasoline
Good
one.
timing.
Real gasoline you used, correct?
Nice. No, it was iced tea. But you know what? It was cold iced tea. We should have gotten the room temperature iced tea because I actually got terrible brain freeze from the rush of cold iced tea on the top of my dome.
Were you doing that for ALS or?
No. Because that photo shoot was like right around the time when gas had gotten like crazy expensive and I was on the road so much. So it was just like a artistic statement about how much the cost of gas is killing me.
Yeah. Did you get any bad kickback from that?
What?
Did you get any bad kickback from that?
No, I think people were like, whoa, and didn't know like what to think about it, that's art, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that attitude. Take it or leave it.
You know what I love about art is that as an artist, and I'm being genuine right now, this is not a bit. Okay. But like as a get your laughs out now. No more fun for one more minute. Okay. So, but like when you have to like decide when something's done, right, as an artist, whether you're doing comedy or whatever, like when it's finished, and like I believe that art's never finished because if art is done well, whoever is viewing it or imbibing it or whatever, like whoever's taking it in is going to inspire new ideas in their head, and then that is a sequence of more ideas.
Pay it forward.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, art's never done.
It.
Yep. That's why I don't finish anything.
Fart noise. Okay, we're back to jokes.
No, I think we do need to get more serious on this podcast.
That was a nice deep moment.
Nice.
You got to give it levels.
Do you think maybe that's why that guy from the sex story didn't finish because he wanted his art?
He finished.
Oh. I'm sorry. I guess I didn't hear the most important part of that story, did I?
You fall asleep in the...
Yeah, what did you think she spit out on him?
Milk?
I thought it was Coke.
Go-gurt. When I know a guy's underperforming, when I know a guy's gonna underperform, just in case, if I know a guy's underperforming, what I do is I keep a slick little Go-gurt packet back here, and nobody even notices that I squirted up in there, and then I'm like...
See, but that's what that fake sperm could have been for.
That lube.
Yeah, that's what it's for. It's
hey, we're all done here. We're all done.
He's like, I didn't come. No, you definitely came.
Look at it. Everywhere.
It's to make a guy think he came.
Now that would be a good. You know what?
That's actually
changed
a
my
really-
mind.
that's
I do
a
want to
great
sponsor
product.
them. Yeah, that's a get out of jail free card for women. I don't know how to segue from that into talking about our sponsor, Upland Brewery, but here we are.
Keep it up, Upland Brewery.
Upland Brewery.
Okay, you got this.
Let's do this.
You got this. You
Well-
have to add the last conversation into this transition.
Upland Brewery.
Make a guy.
You won't spit it out.
Hey, he did it. Evil Camille
will
landed that.
swallow.
Something that you can swallow.
I feel like we've literally never not done a brunch before, and I feel like it threw off the energy of the whole
I
show.
had fun. I had more fun than that first one. You know?
feel
but
like-
also that first one wasn't brunch. It was the prank call,
yeah.
right? Or drunk dial.
That's what we called the
Yeah.
prank call. We called it.
But drunk
But you had
dial-
less fun than the second one where we made you brunch.
What?
You had less fun than the second one where we made you brunch, though.
Maybe I don't remember that podcast because I was in a food coma. I think this was a really fun podcast. Worst meal. Really fun podcast. I feel satiated on another level.
Yeah.
That's good.
You know?
That's
You
good.
know what's true vegan? Not food at all. I'm a level
is
7 vegan.
It is one of the best vegan meals I've ever had.
It was so underwhelming. Like,
I mean, they weren't even like donutty enough. There was something like this isn't even.
I like that we dropped our plug just to bash the restaurant one more time. Get one more
I'm not
jab in.
bashing the restaurant. It's actually
The restaurant's beautiful.
It is actually Jimmy Pardo's fault. If they said
actually-
you're
this
5 minutes late,
Yeah.
and then the kitchen closed down, and we had I don't like donuts, Zach. I don't like donuts that
You know what
much
my
at all.
dad used to call them fat pills.
Yeah, that's smart.
We did. We did
Fat pills.
So We
don't
did
know those
a
fat
tray
pills.
Oh,
of
your sister's
something.
on a seafood diet. She sees food, she eats it. Have another
Hey.
fat pill, fatty. Okay. Anyway, that was
Is that what your dad said?
Well, it got a lot darker.
There's
It got-
that negative self-talk.
that's an impression.
At first it was cute.
Yeah.
Is the dad?
You fat girl!
Is your dad's voice the voice that you hear in your head that tells
God,
you
no.
terrible?
No. That's built in like a, that's somewhere else. Probably not. It's not vocal. I don't know. Yeah. You know what? Now I am hearing his voice.
No, hear it with the filter on.
This is 2 podcasts in a row talking about my dad.
Oh, what'd you get to the 2-hour one?
Yeah. No, I told them about how one time he came to a show and the host, before he even finished the hosting set, just looked at my dad and goes, "Everything you do is unsettling, sir." That's Fred.
Wow.
That's great. We asked that a lot. Like,
If I could just plug Fred Calm.
so you've performed in front of your family. I never performed in front of my family.
Yeah. I wish they had seen me better. Like, they saw me when I didn't have material besides, like, talking about, like, blowjobs. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Yeah.
There was a phase of my career where my Twitter handle was blowjob humor.
Oh.
And,
Wait, that was your handle?
and then I started getting a bunch of pictures from strangers of blowjobs. And so I changed it.
You'll change it.
But it was just, like, based on a joke, and, like, the whole thing was a bit, and it turned into something yucky.
I made the mistake of I was at my cousin's house for it was my adult cousin, and my aunt and uncle, and we were like spending like 3 days together over Christmas break together down in Tennessee. And I had had a few drinks, and it was like day 3. We had run out of shit to talk about, and I knew I had a clip from my like helium comedy
Oh,
competition.
you made them watch a clip?
And I was like, it wasn't a clip. It was my entire 5 minutes from the comedy competition.
Okay.
And I was like, you guys want to see me do some of what I do? I was like, we'll enjoy this. And they put it on, and I was immediately horrified. Like, I forgot exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And it was just all gross
Also,
sex
if they're
stuff.
in the room, it's kind of the adrenaline and the
Yeah.
excitement of seeing you live. You don't want to watch you with your family.
No.
That's a nightmare. I don't want to watch me with anybody.
I
That
would
is
have
the
ra-
worst version of that.
I would have rather put a porn of me on for them to
like, I
watch
did
with me.
a
Give it
TV
a stroke.
Nice. I did a TV taping in Chicago, like local thing, and they had like everybody at the open mic was like, "We're gonna watch it when it comes on," and it was like one of the worst feelings of my life because you're just like, oh, yeah, huh? Like everybody's being supportive, and I'm like, this bitch. Like I didn't know how to like, you know what I mean? Just sit there like, yes, me. You know what I mean? I was just like,
Yeah.
The worst is when you know somebody hated something and then they still give you like a compliment, you know? They're just like keep at it.
Was that what your family said?
Damn it. No, they said you should quit. We didn't like that at all. None of them were on board with it. Like, you've made some poor life decisions.
yeah, my family doesn't really come out to support too much. My littlest brother, my youngest brother, he's 30 now, you know, but I still call him like, anyway, he's really supportive. He's 32. Whoops. And he like loves comedy. I don't think I'm his favorite comic. Like, I don't think he thinks my comedy is his favorite, but he loves comedy enough that he's always been like genuinely excited and supportive of like all the stuff I'm doing, even though the rest of my family's like, get a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bad, like if one day like he becomes less supportive.
Yeah, he's on the track to have kids and stuff, and that could happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because like
Started off strong.
you gotta think he's so young, like he doesn't get
There's
it.
a lot of time to think about it and change his mind.
Well, I'm just saying when you're young, everything looks cool. You want to be a fireman, like you want to be a fly.
No, but he's
You
like
know.
32. He's not like a baby,
Yeah.
you know? And also he's like, yeah. He like loves
He's so young.
I like how you're defending it. Like, no, he's old enough to know that comedy.
well, he loves like Bill Burr. He
Yeah.
loves podcasts,
Sure,
Comedy
sure,
Bang
yeah.
Bang.
He's
So
not a
like-
26-year-old baby.
he loves like the
grown
Tim
man.
and Eric. Like he's just like a real comedy
Yeah.
fan, you know? So I don't need to be his favorite comic or anything. I like that he likes comedy, you know?
I like that he likes you, and that makes me
he
happy.
loves me, and I love him too. And yeah.
That's really cool. That's
Yeah.
special. I don't have. There we go. Anything to say?
I was hoping that was going to line up with you talking. I didn't mean for that to be such a screeching halt to the podcast. But since we're here, Reena Calm, thank you so much for being on the program today.
Yes, thank you. I can't wait to go get some brunch.
You will get some.
Yeah.
I get it. You guys made brunch harder.
This has been the hardest brunch of all. Where can people find you and follow you on social media?
I'm at Reena Calm on all the things. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, the things, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Now I just list all the apps and it takes an hour. I don't have my website updated, but you can see me at Zanies on February 19th. And follow me on Instagram. That's my favorite, and I'll be there. I'll see you there.
Give her a follow. And Reena is pretty meticulous about your posting. I feel like you're a really good follow on Instagram.
I try, and you guys can get my album at the link in my Instagram, and my book Once Upon a Time is available there as well.
Also, the merch game is still popping. Still got that.
Still the best merch display in the country.
I think about that suitcase a lot.
Thank you. I have another one. I built like another crazy one that's like it got an invention. It like yardsticks make it into like a pole to hang a t-shirt on. Anyway, it's
And we'll talk about that after the show.
Yeah.
Daddy's Jake.
I'm just going to take this plug time to talk.
That's what I did.
Reena, we didn't get to talk about this next time. I had so much fun running into you at Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like there's sometimes
we didn't even
where
talk about that.
where comics cross streams.
We could have had a good podcast.
Yeah, we could have had a friendly, wholesome.
Yeah, and like we got to do like 3 different shows that week.
You guys crushed down there, and like it was really awesome watching you both. Like I don't know, I get excited when because I like had recommended you to that one, and I just get excited when I'm like, wait till you guys see my friends, and then you guys crush.
Oh, let's start this podcast over again. And you can talk about that. No, follow me at Thad Mckee. That's Instagram, Twitter, and Threads.
Oh, Threads.
Oh yeah, Threads.
There's about to be a boom. Oh, fucking is that? Ah, sorry, Cody.
If you got $3, then you too could be a Patreon member. That's a new episode every single week. That's patreon.com/Harder Brunch. That's all.
If you thought we talked about cum on this episode,
Wait till you get a load of our next one.
I'm sorry if this was the first episode you listened to and you were like, there's a lot of bodily fluid talk. But you can find me at Dyke Michaels across all social media. Threads, Facebook, YouTube.
Cum is really like the train how we get here into this universe. You understand? That's like our spaceship
Wow.
to this reality.
Yeah.
It is.
So we should treat it with respect and not spit it out on people's stomachs.
That was when I was
That guy, it was probably poisonous, Anyway.
when I was like an open micer, like I had a whole bit about like if you're ever feeling bad, just remember you're the fastest cum. And then nobody liked that.
Like of the sperms.
Yeah.
It's the winner, the egg winner.
There was a million sperms behind you that weren't as good as
Do you guys think pothead sperm is like, dude, let's get some eggs? And then they go to do a podcast about brunch and there's nothing.
I think maybe we change the direction of the show. We trick people into thinking they're having brunch and then they don't get a brunch.
Yeah, I think that's funny. It's like the opposite of, it's like not ones instead of hot ones.
And we just get more and more elaborate. Like, no, we'll meet you at the place. Like, obviously, if they're meeting us at the restaurant, we're going to eat some brunch.
And
they just closed.
Just meet in the parking lot and drive home.
It's great and on theme because you trick them into plans, but then you're not there. And what is that if not stand up? Standing them up.
I don't like that one. I'm sorry.
Well, you could have ended this a minute ago.
We love you, Reena. Thank you so much for being on here. Follow her on social media. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.